Good morning. I want to thank everybody for coming to the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District inauguration of our flood warning system that we have recently installed. First of all, I'm here not in replace of Rusty. Nobody can replace Rusty. He's the best. But he's with his daughter, and I'm going to speak on his behalf. The first thing I'd like to do is ask for y'all to stand. I'd like to say a prayer for Tori Burkett, who is gravely ill in the hospital currently. I'd like to pray for Tori and also her family in this terrible time. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Lord, I'm asking for a miracle here. Please guide those doctors to have the information and the skill to treat this illness. We know that everything is possible with your help. We know you have your hand on Tori's shoulder presently, and we really wish that you would bring all the angels to give her complete healing and a speedy recovery. Your will be done. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. My name is David Johnson. I'm the Vice President of the board, and I'm excited today to have the opportunity. I really wish Rusty was here because Rusty's got a business brain like no other. He's a real entrepreneur, thinks outside the box, and something as simple as warning the public about impending flood. Why it hadn't been done before, I don't know. But we're doing a lot of things that we haven't done before, that haven't even been asked about. And so I'm really proud to have our group from Simplicity here today. It's a woman-owned business, and the name says it all. It's tremendous capability and a very small package. One of the things we look at is life cycle as far as purchasing a piece of equipment. We don't want something that's going to cost a fortune to maintain. This thing is so easy to maintain. It has a 4-year battery. It's simple to replace the unit, simple to replace the battery. And the big thing, and I asked this question when these folks came and gave us their initial presentation, is how are we going to get it out to the public? And not only have their engineers figured out how to measure impending flood, but also they figured out a way to get it out to the public. And I'm not going to leak the secret, but there's going to be more ways coming. So stay tuned. Like I said, there are 7 of these gizmos out there, and we're very pleased that we pioneered this thing. So, does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Kim, would you like to say something?
I'm just excited to be able to have a monitoring system for our creeks throughout Friendswood and down into our district down in West League City, because we've lacked that knowledge and information for quite a long time. And as a flood victim of Harvey, it'll be very, very helpful for our other citizens to be able to see where the creeks, how high they're rising with the rains and stuff. And the information that Randy was getting on from Saturday's rains was wonderful. He was getting just a little preview of how the creeks were, how the water was going into the creeks and stuff. So I'm excited about that.
Jason, would you say it was, please, sir?
Briefly, they're going to teach us all the main points, right? But our approach since the beginning has been data, data, data. You don't lick your finger, stick it in the wind, and call it good, right? So as we get more data from this, we can integrate it with our data coming from IDRT. As their technology expands, we'll be able to also measure not just level, but our flow in and flow out of the district, which is really key to proving so many different levels of data. So as we move forward, we integrate this into Granicus, our IDRT results, and we take our capacity to actually get things done that matter and make some major changes. After that, let's let these guys run their show.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Randy Rowland and our guys in the field, also our CEO, Paige Bailey, and their crew. They make this thing run like a sewing machine. We're blessed to have them. Paige is not only a doctor of jurisprudence, but she's also has an MBA. She's a perfect triple threat when it comes to running this thing. We have taken this organization out of the dark ages when it comes to record keeping and also spending money, looking at return on investment versus just going out there and digging another hole. I think that we're really on to something with these programs. It's funny, you know, when I was growing up, if my father told me, go do this, I better damn sure not come back and tell him why I can't do it. And that's the attitude that I have, Rusty has, Kim and Jason have, that we're here to fix this problem. And it's not a political issue, it's a business, these are business decisions. We've had too many political decisions. It's not, you know, that water doesn't care what party you're from. And so, anyway, this is just another cog that we can add, and I think it makes tremendous sense. And also, you guys have put this system all over the place. I mean, it's a proven system. You know, actually, would y'all mind just saying a word or two about the capability of the system? I think that'd be wonderful for everybody to hear what we heard.
Absolutely. And we're going to do a demo.
Sure, yes. They've created a video that you
Oh,
may have
perfect.
seen online that we're going to start with here.
Perfect.
Flooding, timing is everything. That's why the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District and Simplicity Integration have partnered to deliver a new level of real-time flood monitoring. Built to monitor, alert, and protect, giving communities the information they need when they need it most. Smarter data, faster decisions, stronger flood readiness across Galveston County. Now, they're bringing it to life. Faster to install and easier to deploy. Installed in hours, not weeks. No major infrastructure, no drawn-out projects. Just fast, cost-effective protection. From a single crossing to a full network, it scales quickly without breaking your budget. See the technology in action, hear from project leaders, and experience how this partnership is driving real-world impact. GCCDD and Simplicity Integration. Monitor, alert, protect.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, David, and thank you, Paige. We are very proud to be here. I'm Allison Reese. I'm the COO for Simplicity Integration, and I brought with me our Chief Product Officer, Mike Reese, over here, and then our CEO, Beth Bruce, who is right here. And as David mentioned, we're a very proud Texas woman-owned business, which I think is important because for communities to feel comfortable with systems that are right for them and they know that it's going to be unique and meet their needs, you want somebody who's from your community, and that's us. We were founded really to deliver simple, reliable, and actionable water intelligence for communities just like Galveston County, Consolidated Drainage District. And we partnered from the very beginning to understand what their needs are. And we're going to be continuing that in the years ahead. We're very proud of that. We're providing Galveston County with sensors, which you're going to see a demonstration of here in a minute, analytics, communications, and the software. And we'll be telling you a little bit more about that. Real-time water levels to meet the needs of this community, and also alerts to the right people at exactly the right time when it's needed. So we're just here to simply put flood preparation and water intelligence at the top of the list. And we want to do it without the complexity, thus our name, Simplicity Integration. So at this point, Mike is going to do a demonstration over here of the technology that is actually installed here. And that technology, you'll see it, but it's not really obtrusive. So you really have to pay attention to see them on the creeks where they're installed right now. And so this is a radar unit. We have a couple different technologies, but what he's going to show you is the water level is going to rise. And when it gets past a threshold mark, and for this community, we call that potential flooding and likely flooding. And so those are the two set points. And when it gets past that point, what the community members here will get for whatever location they've signed up for, they'll get a text. And it will simply say, flooding possible, flooding likely. Here's the level, this is the location. And when it's clear, it will also, again, you'll get a text. Flooding clear at this location, at this time, and here's the level. And so Mike's gonna get that started. What he'll also do here, we have a warning light, and because the text messaging isn't set up yet, we don't have the thresholds in quite yet next week for these locations. As we do that, that you'll start to be able to sign up for these text alerts. And in addition to that, we're showing you how some of our other technology works, which is where a warning light can start up based on those thresholds, just like the text message that will come to both me and to others who are signed up for our demo. But you'll also see that light start. So I'm going to let him start doing that. And at the same time, he's going to start that. And you're going to see the water level rise. And it might take about a minute because these sensors are set to read at a regular cadence. Typically, the ones that we have installed are reading at a cadence of about 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes, it's going out there looking at the level. If the level is changing, then it's going to start maybe increasing the time at which it's going to report. And so this one happens to be set at a flooding possible at 12 inches, so a foot. And you can see that water level is clearly above that. And so you're going to start to see that information. If you look at one of these installed in a local creek, you'll see there's a little light that flashes green when it's recording. And so that being said, you can tell that the machine is working, and we have these installed in multiple locations, as David was talking about, and some of them have been 4+ years without even needing a battery replacement. And the way we get away with that is we're really trying to use our technology and our battery life very efficiently, so we can set that all up remotely, because all of this information goes up to the cloud, and then that's where we determine the action. So if we want a light to come on, if we want a text to be sent out, we want a barrier to close, we want a siren to come on, all that can be done. And the siren could be in Italy, and it can be tied to a sensor here. So as you see, the light comes on, text message comes. Now, how does Galveston County get that word out to their citizens? Well, we have solved that problem for you as well. And you'll see over here, I'm going to grab this mouse. See over here, let's see if I can get over there. You can see right here. Oh, and he's going to drain this, and that light will go out, just so you know. But over here, this page will be sent out next week to the community. And as you can see on this page, you can see locations. The blue ones right now, that indicates the sensors that are aligned with Galveston County. We also have Harris County information here. So you're going to be able to see all of this in one place. I can click on that. It's going to tell me the location and the current water elevation and the current water depth in that particular location. So at Sugar Creek at Friendswood Trail, that particular location on the map, the water elevation currently is 26 feet, and then the water depth is about a foot. I can look at that. I can see the last reading. If there was a threshold set, you would see that information here as well, and that's going to be done next week. Actually, it should be done here pretty soon. And then right here is where a citizen goes to pick the sensor that they want to subscribe to. I can subscribe to as many as I want. It'll show me which ones I want to subscribe to. I put in my name, my phone number, my zip code. I have to opt in because you know how the restrictions are. I click sign up. You'll get a quick text that says, welcome to Simplicity. These are the locations that you've been signed up for. And now you're ready. When the time comes and the rain's falling, you can anytime go to this web page and you can see the real-time information. But if it's in potential or likely flooding, you'll be getting a text message for that location. This is really designed for, I guess, I don't remember who it was it Jim? Who said, oh, we need one in my backyard. And if you put one in my backyard, I would go. But on the creek that's behind his house, it's really useful for those of you who live on these areas. I was literally, we were over at Mary's Creek today in Winding Road, which is, I think is where Randy lives. And there was two people walking. And of course, the one thing they did was they went over to the creek and they looked at it. Well, this negates the fact that you have to go look at it, especially if it's raining. Who wants to do that? Now you can just go to this web page. So we'll be providing this information. Well, they already have it, the location, and they'll be sending out a QR code. So we want to make sure people will bookmark this so that they can refer to it both on their phone and on their computer. So I think that's it. I guess we can, do you have anything else you want to say? But yeah, that's what we have for you there.
I have a question. One of the things that has come up is how much does this cost?
Okay.
Can you tell us how much it costs?
So how much you paid us so far? Less than $50,000.
Didn't you bargain for a bonus sensor, a baker's dozen?
I think that wasn't
Yeah, I
that,
tried to get 13.
well, we can certainly accommodate.
So in anywhere you have your sensors, no matter where the person lives, they can get updates for any sensor in any area?
Yes, sir. And then, of course, Harris County, we have some of their information here, and we have USGS information that is on our system. So that means that you can go to one place for Galveston County and see the levels of the sensors nearby, which is really useful. We also convert that to water depth because not everybody understands elevation. Some people do like to know, well, when the creek is 10 feet deep, I know I've got a problem. Well, you're going to be able to see that on this particular page for Galveston County.
When you can use it to map your ingress or egress.
That's very
you've
true.
got your local points, but then you need to know as you leave, how soon do I need to leave based off flood stages at the different.
Well, and that's the one thing that we provide to Randy and to Paige here at the office and to you all. Analytics to be able to provide some insight as to what might happen in certain conditions. And as the data grows from the locations that we've just installed, we're going to really be able to provide very specific details about in these conditions, we get 5 inches of rain in 2 hours. This is what you can expect at each of these locations. These are tied to each other because they're on a watershed and one's upstream from the other. This is how fast the water goes down. That's the kind of information that's critical for you to make good, actionable decisions. Our mantra is always, it all starts with good measurement, but good data creates practical action. And that's what you just talked about.
One of the things we were talking about Southwest Research Institute that they formed by the Swift Oil Company in San Antonio some years ago, and they it doesn't do any good to get academic data without applied science, and that's the business they're in. My father, Bernard Johnson, was an engineer, and he was on the board of that outfit. And it's quite interesting, all the applications, both with private industry and military, that they would accomplish. And so that's the kind of thing that I learned just being around my dad is to, what good is the academics if you can't do something that's going to solve a problem? And so with you guys, with the data, and I do believe we're coming into data, we're in a data-driven world and AI. And so I think we're going to take advantage of all these opportunities in technology. And the other thing is, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I'm smart enough to know that we need to hire the smartest people we can. And I think we've done that with our staff, and also with our consultants. And we want to be the leading edge. I will say one other thing. Rusty can be cantankerous. I love Rusty. Rusty, like any good coach, has an edge to him, and he has shown a light on this issue like nobody has before in this county. And so that passion leads us to go out and ask. And this is the kind of thing, results that happen when you go out and ask. It's amazing how many entities that we've talked to that nobody's ever asked. And one other guy I want to recognize is Scott, our engineer. He has done a wonderful job. He's like I am. He has a bad habit of telling the truth. And he has a little more of a filter than I do. But anyway, I just want to say, Scott, thank you for your expertise. And particularly doing the things that we ask you to do and supporting the decisions that we make with data. And I want to thank you for that. Does anybody else have any questions or anybody want to make any comments? Michael, would you like to say something?
Put me on the spot, eh, David?
Please do. Michael's on the city council. He's the voice of reason, a man of integrity and character.
I guess I should
Hear
move
from
forward
you.
so that people can
Get out of
stare.
your way.
Thank you. So one of the things that I've been most impressed with the current administration of the GCCDD is their dedication to using data and science to solve the problems. They're not interested in spending money just for the sake of putting money into a project that doesn't have the effect that's necessary for the community. This was one of the things that I had talked to David about before he even got elected. He and I had a discussion about, I want some real-time stream data because it's super important to be able to communicate to our citizens what's happening in their community in the moment, at real time. And this is a great step towards this. The city has allowed, maybe begrudgingly, unfortunately, but they've allowed some of these monitors to be placed on their infrastructure in the city. And I'm very excited to be able to have that happen in our community because I want that data to our citizens so they can know exactly what's happening, pick up their phone and look at it and say, okay, Chicker Creek's at this level, which I applaud this. I did have one question for you. So we get to a warning level 1, you're taking data every 15 minutes. We know, with the intensities of these rains we can get, can we ramp that up when we get to that? Hey, we've hit level 1. Do we check this every 5 minutes or whatever so it's necessary? So, real time, I'm assuming you
We can increase the frequency based on that.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing when we have this unit reported every 15 minutes. If we want to extend the battery life, we can have the system have it reported once an hour, just so that it actually, you talk about measurement integrity, so we know the unit's still there, even though there's no data.
Yep.
But in the event, and that's one of the things, is you notice, we're bringing in public sources of data from Harris County, NOAA, and what we can do is based on that, first it's going to be manual, it's going to be trust the people first before you trust the technology. You can push a button, in the event of a storm event, you can actually have the thing reporting in once a minute. And then once the storm event is gone and everything's subsided, you go back and you conserve battery. Why report data if there's no changes?
Perfect. And I heard that in your presentation, but I just want to clarify that for the people out in the audience, that we can ramp up the intensity of the measurements and the frequency of them so we can get you more real-time data as we go. And then preserve the battery when there's no storms happening. I mean, we've lived there long enough that these misnomers of 100-year events don't happen every 100 years, okay? So that's bad terminology for the rain intensities and durations that we have in Galveston County, Texas. Maybe other places in the state too. So I would love to see this integrated throughout the county. I know there are other districts in the county that have these problems as well because there's continued development, the runoff from these developments. We need to be able to track what the flow rates are. So I think it'd be important to be able to gather that data real time. Thank you so much for bringing this to our community.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Michael.
Sorry I talked too much.
No, that was perfect. Thank you very
Well,
much.
and to play off that, when Mike and I were talking earlier, so much of this takes too long. So what's so different about these guys is their ability to go from your need to concept to implementation. And as they've grown with their different metrics in AI usage, something that would take a year, a long time to get a quote, and then it's a year to give you some concept, and then there's implementation. And the old ones are the size of outhouses. If you've ever driven down the big measurement stations on the way to Austin, they can get this to us so quickly. And then through that, they can also pivot just as quickly as their technology increases. And while maybe not every measurement point needs the escalation of LiDAR, but certainly on our entry and exit points will, and they can pivot to that very quickly. And that is unique in this sphere or any sphere, the ability to accumulate data and have a practical implementation in such a short span of time. So it's an awesome partnership.
You know, one thing you guys didn't point out is your ability to act nimbly and quickly on make decisions. You're not a big over bureaucratic organization. You can look at information, make a decision whether or not it's good for your citizens, and implement it. You probably started looking this less than a year ago, and now it's already implemented. So, I mean, congratulations on being able to make decisions that protect your community quickly.
Thank you, Jason. Anybody else have any comments or questions? All right, well, Paige, you want to say a word?
Sure.
I wish you would.
Okay. Thank you all so much for being here today. It is with my great honor to be able to serve this board, this organization, for the community that we serve and the citizens that help fund us. We are so excited to be able to share this flood warning system. And it's important to me specifically as someone who grew up in this area to have a site to be able to go to that is relevant to our community only, that pulls in data that's relevant to us. Because I'd like to say that I'm a rather intelligent person. I've got multiple degrees. But even I found all the multiple systems to go to find access to easy data to get to quickly, and especially in an emergency when you're kind of worried about the storm coming, difficult to navigate. And so finding something that was specific to our community and Galveston County's needs was really important to me. And so I'm glad that the board, implemented this, and I'm happy to work with Simplicity. And I'm excited to share that this pilot program with our community so that to show the value of it to the citizens, so that hopefully it can show our other partners in the community the worthwhileness of doing so, and that it can help protect our citizens. And so thank you so much for being here today. We've got some refreshments in the hallway if you'd like to join us for that, and if you want to stay for a bit. But thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The guy back there with the beard, did you want to get up and say something? Are you sure? You're the guy that knows where the bodies are buried out there in the field. No.
He's too smart to get in front of a camera.
Our field staff is excellent, and Randy shows the pictures every week. There are miles and miles and miles and miles of drainages that have to be mowed and repaired, and it is job security, Randy, because by the time you get to this end, it's time to start over again. So anyway, thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you for having us. Absolutely, to be able to show off what you all are doing.
And thank you to the other entities, people from around the county, other elected officials, representatives. Thank y'all for coming as well.
Ma'am, who are you?
I'm Dina Toko with State Representative Terry Leo Wilson's office.
Thank you so much for
Thanks for
coming.
being
Yes,
here.
absolutely.
I hope you'll pass good words along to the representative.
Oh, I
and,
will, for sure.
Please let her know we're going to be looking for money here pretty soon. When you're back in the IDRT, we'll be knocking on her door.
Okay, and I also brought you guys a certificate for your ribbon cutting ceremony today. So I
Oh,
just
thank
wanted
you
to
so much.
Oh, that's
let you guys know. Yes.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any other representatives here?
I'm with the Texas General Land Office. I'm Stephanie Davidson.
Oh,
Stephanie, thank you so much
All
for
right,
coming.
thank you for being here.
Would you like to get up and say a word?
No, sir.
See, they're really smart people.
Next time.
Well, thanks for being
Of
here,
course.
and tell your friends at the state that we're going to be looking for some money.
Yes, sir.
But we're gonna have solutions for that money.
We're going to
Absolutely.
bring a package that's going to be, here's what it's going to take and here's what it's going to cost. And I mean, we have people sizing the pumps right now for the flood dike. So, we mean business. And I will say this too, let's talk about regional authority. I think regional authority is a great idea. I think it's not just Friendswood, League City, the other entities, Pearland. It's all of our problem. And we're dealing with each other's water, okay? Particularly us in Friendswood, we're dealing with other counties' water. And so I'm all for that. The governor appointed some years ago, and you probably know about this, the Gulf Coast Protection District. And they've done a great job. Michelle Bechtel is, his heart's in the right place. They're chasing the Ike Dike. We'd like to get the Ike Dike done, but really what we'd like to do is get the flood dike at Clear Lake done as a pilot project, which would be much more affordable and quicker to get done. And so I'm all for that. But the problem is it gets bureaucratic. And so you have to have somebody that's, there's a big argument of it. Well, this person, he doesn't play the game, okay? Well, we're not interested in playing the damn game. What we're interested in is fixing the problem. We came from the private sector. We can't afford in the private sector to invest money on projects that don't have a return. We just don't. And just because, this is public money doesn't mean that we want to spend it on projects that don't make sense. We're not going to. That's the old way of doing things. And so what we're after is to get the IDRT and Texas A&M Galveston to give us the data that we need to develop a scope of work, to get engineers and contractors to define that scope of work, to come up with a cost of what it's going to take, and get the damn thing built. And if you have a regional authority, somebody told me a long time ago that, what the definition of consensus is? A lack of leadership. And so if we do happen to get that authority, that community, that widespread drainage authority, it's got to have some horsepower. It's got to have somebody that doesn't take no for an answer. It's got to have somebody that is smart enough to recognize they don't have all the answers and to go out to people like this to get those answers. And so I'm passionate about it. Rusty's passionate about it. All of us are passionate about it. And we have done so many different things that people think are controversial. This is just another day in business for us. We're trying to succeed here. And anyway, I want to thank y'all for coming, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you.